And welcome in, guys. Happy Saturday. Welcome into the Backstretch. My name is Geronari. That is Benny the Boot. He is the simulcast champ over at the Palm Beach Kennel Club. He is also a member of the Backstretch, which you can hear every Friday. That's right, every Friday. You can check him out at the Palm Beach Kennel Club. They bring you the latest and the greatest in Greyhound racing as well as thoroughbred racing, and that happens to be Benny the Boot's specialty here. And today, we're going to talk about two of the races that are coming up, two of the Breeders' Cups, the Breeder Cup birth racers, so to speak. You kind of win and you're in. And Benny, it's an awful lot of fun today. This is a good time of year for racing.
Yes, it is. I want to let your listeners know that I'm only doing this because I'd like to see you people get even if you've been betting Joe's football picks.
That's probably a very good point too. Yeah, it hasn't been great. All right, but no need to bring that up right now. But let's talk about it. We've got the 31st running of the Woodbine Mile today in Toronto. For those of you that don't know where Woodbine is, it's a Grade 1 $800,000 event, and we had mentioned it. It is a birth to the Breeders' Cup on the line. And explain first and foremost, for those that may not know, Benny, why is it such a big deal to be able to make it to the Breeders' Cup?
Well, because it's the premier show of the year for horse racing. Only the best go to the Breeders' Cup, and that's why it's 2 days of nonstop, one stake race after the other. If you're a horse racing fan, to me, Breeders' Cup is better than the Triple Crown.
Okay.
The Triple Crown is fine, but these are older horses. These are young horses. It's turf horses. They're running in the dirt. Breeders' Cup is just great. And if you can get a free trip there, you're saving the owner and the trainer and a whole bunch of money, and you're guaranteed. You don't have to fight anymore.
Gotta love that.
Yeah.
And the Woodbine Mile has been a springboard to victory in the Breeders' Cup Mile recently. Last year, world approval with Wise Dan, and in 2012 and 2013. So we've seen this be a pretty good indicator of what's going to happen in the Breeders' Cup.
It's a very good prep for the Breeders' Cup. You're absolutely right, and I look forward to seeing who's going to win today and who's going to move on.
Well, this year's field, we have nine 3 millionaires, I guess it is, right? 2 Grade 1 winners, and we have 4 that have won at Woodbine. So you're looking at a field right now that has a combined record of 11 wins in 17 starts at this track, and that's they're all very familiar with what's going on at Woodbine.
I think the way you distinguish not so much the winners, because the winners are their overall record, not necessarily their stakes records. For example, you can have a horse win 5 races in a row in all claiming ranks, and then now he's going to be stepping into a Grade 1 race. It's a whole nother ball game. So don't let win records story you too much. You want to concentrate on class. That's the thing.
Okay, and you always talk about that. Benny the Boot talks about that all the time. Class. It's always about class. Speed plays a factor, but class absolutely is one of those things that you want to look at. 4:48 today Eastern Time is when the race will take off in Toronto at Woodbine. Let's take a look at what we've got here. I actually have the wrong one up though, so let me. There we go, the Woodbine Mile. Let's start with Bill Mott's horse first and foremost. Good Samaritan. Joel Rosario's on him. Opened up 10-1. Some people are swearing that this is a horse that is going to be in the money today regardless, and at that number, that would make a lot of people very happy.
Well, Good Samaritan is a trooper. He runs on the dirt. He runs on the turf. The trouble is his current form is kind of suspect. He hasn't done well in his last 3 starts. Now he's switching back from dirt to turf. And another thing I'm not crazy about Good Samaritan is I don't like the mile distance. He seems to be a 1.1 1/8 type horse. So, I respect the Mott-Rosario combination, but I'm not thrilled. And rail, I don't really like the rail either. So I got to pass on Good Samaritan. But listen, if you're going to put him underneath for the triples and the superfecta, I wouldn't blame you.
Okay, and also keep in mind, though, that he does return to a place in which he's won before. He's won twice here before, including at Woodbine as a 2-year-old. So, again, familiarity here for Good Samaritan at a pretty good price. We'll go on to number 2, La Sardane, 15-1. This horse This filly's taking on the boys and comes into a race with could very well be the speed in this race.
Well, yeah, he's going to be in front for how she's going to be in front for how long? But I never, ever listen to me play fillies against colts. It just doesn't make any sense to me because the girls are not as fast. You know, it's just like we don't have track races where girls run against boys, and there's a reason for that. There's stamina and everything else. I think La Sedane is in this race not to try and get into the Breeders' Cup male race. I think maybe she just wants to pick up a check. But I think that's going to be a stretch. She just doesn't have the class either.
Yeah, keep in mind the last time a yielding track at Woodbine was, I believe, played the King, and again she went up against her male counterparts there, and also was the speed in that race too. So if anything, do expect her to set the tempo of this race right out of the gates.
Yeah, she got beat by 2 others in this race, Joe.
Yeah, so, well, there you go there. And going in number 3, Delta Prince, early morning line favorite at 5-2. And it's a 5-year-old, as a matter of fact, coming into the Woodbine Mile with a off-pace victory at this track back in June in the King Edward, which was a Grade 2 race. What do you see from Delta Prince?
Well, I think Delta Prince will probably be the favorite in this race. He's in just great form right now. The connections are great. You got Castellano and Jimmy Jerkins. It's got to be respected. Again, it's another one of these things where it ran good, a good second last time against Vagabond Song and in front of the Visadero. That was at Saratoga now. I don't know. He won the King Edward, which is a Grade 2. This is kind of a step up in class. I mean, really doesn't have a whole hell of a lot of experience. At 5 years old, he's only run 9 times.
Yes.
So
and he's never finished out of the money, though.
Yeah, no, it's got
times.
Listen, it's got 1-for-1 record at Woodbine. They might play him down as the favorite, but I certainly don't think he should be the favorite.
But he's definitely somebody you got to consider that will be there when it is all said and done. 9 races, 9 times in the money. So there's a reason. I think that more than anything else is probably the reason why he's the favorite here with Castellano.
Yeah, and that combination is awesome. So
yeah.
People play combinations more than they play horses sometimes.
Yes, they do. Yes. Welcome in if you're just joining us. It is the Backstretch brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Joe Ranieri alongside Benny the Boot. He is the simulcasting specialist for the Palm Beach Kennel Club. And, of course, you see up in the corner of the screen, you've got our Miami Acura hotline. If you've got any questions for Benny about the races today, 855-WTF-2255 is how you reach us. That's 855-WTF-2255. This is a WTF Sports TV production. Let's go into the number 4 here on this race. Vanish. 20-1. This is a Canadian-bred horse, in fact, and was claimed back in July for just $40,000. Seems kind of like a bargain, no?
Again, but very short on class. This horse also is another one got beat by 2 others in this race. And just a quick plug for the Palm Beach Kennel Club. If anybody out there is in Florida and you're in Palm Beach County, Kennel Club's a good visit. We had 15 Greyhound races a day. We have a poker room. We have the mega simulcast. I mean, to me, it's the OTB of the Palm Beaches. So if you're in town, you never know what you're going to see. For example, the other day, I was online to go make a bet, and I was standing behind a Greyhound. And the Greyhound jumps up on the counter, and he says to me, he says to the guy, give me $50 to win on the 5.
Damn.
And this guy, the dog is wearing number 5. Well, the teller starts laughing like hell, and the dog told him, what are you laughing? Because I'm talking? He says, no, I'm laughing because you haven't got a shot. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on at the Kennel Club.
There's a lot of fun stuff that happens at the Kennel Club. Exactly. You never know when you can see a dog betting on himself. My goodness. We've got a big race day here. We're talking about the Woodbine Mile, another one of these situations, a G1 race. You win, you're in the Breeders' Cup. That is what everybody wants to be a part of coming up in November. And where is the Breeders' Cup again this year?
Breeders' Cup is at Churchill's.
It's at Churchill.
Yep.
Okay, so it's when in racing there is money to be had, and it's usually at the Breeders' Cup. So that's why today's races, the Woodbine Mile and the Iroquois Stakes, are so valuable and so very important. And this is where you get competition. I mean, this isn't this isn't Florida State taking on, a Dwyer High School. This is a situation where, yes, all of these horses have a chance to win these two races here today, which brings us up to number 5. Mr. Haverkamp. Mr. Haverkamp has the home track advantage here. He has won 6 of 7 career starts at Woodbine. He also sports 2 wins at the mile distance from 3 tries in the last race. The Catherine Day Phillips, he won that. He beat Play the King, which was also a grade 2 on the yielding turf. And listen, this is his home track. If there's ever going to be home field advantage, this is going to be it.
In addition to that, he also has the leading jockey at Woodbine, Eric De Silva. I think that's all well and good, but this is, again, an issue for me with class. I don't think he's a grade 1 horse. I mean, he could prove me wrong, but I'll tell you, he's definitely a Woodbine horse.
Yes.
So he's another one that you might want to play underneath.
Okay, so keep an eye on that. And that brings us up to number 6 here. And number 6 is kind of a anomaly for those that concentrate on races here in the country and the horses here in the country. She is a French-bred horse, and this will be his first start, rather, in the States at Woodbine. And he has been running some of the best tracks around the world, especially over in Europe. So he's certainly been tested. He's been, he's been tried before. We're talking about a horse that loves to come from the clouds. This is somebody where not going to be up in front early on, but will certainly try to be there at the end. And there's a lot of people talking about Lord Glitters.
Well, another thing, it's really a beautiful horse. And by the way, it is a male horse, not a female horse, because he is gelded.
Yes.
At any rate, he's a beautiful gray, and I'll tell you the truth, man. You won't need to see for his number. You just look at his coat. It's a beautiful horse.
Yes.
Now he's got a lot of things going for him in this race, and I don't usually play Europeans against Americans, especially when they have to make that trip over here. They have to clear quarantine. Only the really good ones come here, and his own connections passed by a very easy race that he could have won over in England to come here and do this. I'm sure he has his eyes on the Breeders' Cup. Now, the thing about him is he's 7 for 7 at this distance worldwide. He's run at Ascot, Royal Ascot, which is a strange thing about Royal Ascot is it's set up the same as Woodbine. It has like 2 left turns.
Yes. And
Woodbine won't be a stretch for him to do this. And Jamie Spencer's coming over to ride him. Jamie Spencer's one of the top riders in Europe. I mean, you're going to see him in this video that you're watching.
This is the Royal Ascot back in July, as a matter of fact.
He's awesome, and I think that this is going to be my best bet of the day. I really like his chances here. I think there's enough speed in this race to help him close, and we'll see.
And like you said, Jamie Spencer was brought over to ride Lord Glitters. Horses from England, by the way, who have come over, have done well in the past at this race at Woodbine. So it won't be out of the norm if all of a sudden a horse who's never raced in North America comes over and does well in this race. We've seen it in the past. He's won a boatload of money over there, and as you can see here on the screen, you'll see him coming. And this was in July, and he ain't giving up.
There's no quitting that horse.
Yes, no
quit.
And he's being challenged too on the outside and gutted it out. He's done this a number of times over there. This is a quality horse, Lord Glitters, that a lot of people are looking at for this race. Another horse that a lot of people are talking about in the Woodbine Mile is Oscar Performance. Now, after getting pulled up and Vandorfed in the Arlington Million, Oscar is back on the track. He's been training well. I got to tell you, that start in Chicago was a bit of a head scratcher for a lot of people, and it can't be ignored. But I don't think it means as much as people are making it out to seem with this horse.
Oscar Performance is a lot like your wife. You can't make up her mind what she wants to do. Oscar Performance has had if you look at the racing form, Oscar Performance has 2 horrendous races where he ran 10th and then came back and won the race. Then he ran 9th and came back and won the race. So if you think about the Arlington Million as just an anomaly for this horse, he's ready to step it up and go. He's 2 for 2 at the distance, and I'll tell you, he's the lone speed in this. As far as I'm concerned, he's the lone speed. If they don't push him on the front, Oscar Performance is going to be right there at the end. And between the 6 and the 7, that would be a box ticket for me with the rest of the field. I really like Oscar Performance, unless something happened in Arlington, but I don't think so, because he ran a bullet on September 3rd up in Saratoga. So
yep. Yeah, he won the G3 poker at Belmont. He's a good horse. He was 3rd in the Turf Classic at Belmont. He won the Secretariat Stakes at Arlington. I don't think they would run this horse if he wasn't right. Do you think they would do that?
Absolutely not. Plus, this is another one. He's won 2 grade ones. He won the Belmont Derby, and he won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile on the turf. So this is a serious horse. That, like you said, if you put a line through that last race, he would be the favorite, but people are going to be scratching their head. Oh, and one other thing about Lord Glitters. You know, a lot of people, like myself, don't like to play foreign horses, and I think for that reason, you might get 3-1 on this horse, and that opens my eyes, because I don't put him in the same category as the number 3, who is the local favorite.
Sure. But Mr. Haberman.
Yeah, Mr. Haberman. I think that at 3-1, you'll be stealing money.
Okay, see, so you've got that. There is one other horse in this race. Divisadero, I believe, is how you pronounce that. Latest start as a 6-year-old. He was 3rd in the 4-star Dave, 2 lengths behind Delta Prince. And he did change trainers earlier this year, and he does have a win at the Arlington Handicap, which was a G3 back in July. So he's never won at the mile distant, and I guess that's what has people scratching their head about this horse a little bit. People like him, but 8-1 Morning Light Hard and ridden by Toledo. So what do you think of?
I think there's value there in the triple and the superfecta, but no way he can beat this crowd.
Yeah, no, it's going to be tough. And finally, number 9, Stormy Antarctica. Gerald Moss running him 8-1 early morning line here. Another European runner that has been strictly in group level races this year while racing in England, France, and Germany. Very successful miler. 5 wins and 15 starts at this distance, including a Group 2 in Germany back in May. So this is an experienced European miler.
Yeah, but the trouble with these horses is that a lot of people don't realize many of those races are run on a straightaway. There are no turns. There's going to be 2 turns in this race.
There's going to be some turns.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it with anybody that hasn't got that experience.
Yeah, okay. So there you go. So it comes down to who do you like here in this race, and what are you going to play? Because I can tell you right now that there is some money, there is some value in this race here today. So, Benny, we'll start with you. Who do you like? Who you going with?
I'm going with number 6, Lord Glitters, and a close second is going to be Oscar Performance, and then I'm going to wheel the rest of the field in the triple.
Interesting. So you're just going to go, you're going to stick with
6-7 all.
6-7 all. Not a bad way to look at that. I do like the 6 as well. However, I do like Delta Prince and Oscar Performance. So I've got a 6-3-7 combination. But if Good Samaritan wanted to show up somewhere along in the superfecta or the triples, that whole 6-3-7-1 combination I think is pretty valuable depending on where it comes in.
Yeah, I can't knock Good Samaritan. It's a head scratcher to me, you know.
Yes.
Although the way things have been going lately, where horses have come off the turf and won on the dirt, this is the exact opposite. He's coming off the dirt and now running on the turf.
And not, yeah.
You know, so we just don't know. Horse racing is that way, you know. Who's going to show up today?
You don't know, but these are 2 very big races today. That is the Woodbine Mile. And, of course, if you're just joining us, welcome in. Not only college football today, but we got a whole lot of very important horse racing fields. A lot of pick 4s I noticed out there today, too, that are happening. Some big monies. Yeah. Some must-pay pick 6s, I believe, the guaranteed jackpots.
Yep, it sure is.
So it's a fun day in the world of racing, and it is the Backstretch brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club. He is the simulcast master at the Palm Beach Kennel Club. That is Benny the Boot. You can check out the full broadcast of the Backstretch each and every Friday right around 6 o'clock live from the Palm Beach Kennel Club. We do have another race here today that we want to talk about, another one of those win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup situations, this being the Iroquois Stakes. And the Iroquois Stakes is at the beautiful Churchill Downs here today.
Yeah, the Iroquois Stakes is not only a win and you're in race, but it's actually, folks, hold on to this. It's the first of the Road to the Derby races. Now, this will be going on until we go up to May. So the very first race, it's worth 10 points for Derby points. It's an important race because if you can get into the juvenile off of this race, you're going to have a very good race under your belt. And, you know, all these races, these 2-year-old races are now, especially at this level, we're going to get a look at who's going to be in the Derby. So you want to pay attention to the 2-year-olds because they're really, if you can project what they're going to look like at 3 and how they're going to run, this is a good thing for you.
Yes, listen, you look at this right off the top at first glance, it's very hard to look past number 4, Tight 10. And as far as speed goes, this horse, what he's done thus far, certainly cannot be ignored. After winning his debut at Churchill Downs by 4.5 lengths, he did finish a good second in the Grade 2 at Saratoga, the special stakes there. He was only beaten by 1 length, so some people would say that Tight 10 has been maybe a little bit green on both of those races to date here, but he comes into this race, I think, clearly the favorite.
Well, plus he's handled by Cash Musman, the trainer of a gun runner, and he's got Santana on him. So that combination wins a lot of races.
Yes, yeah, it really does. And
I think it's going to be a short price, though.
Yeah, that's the problem with this race, and that's the problem with him. But what he has displayed thus far certainly makes him look, and that would be, I believe, Tight 10 is number 4 in this race. I'm looking at the sheet there. Yes, number 4. And now, listen, it's not the toughest of fields, and this distance it'll be interesting to see, but I like number 10, Hog Creek Hustle, who was, I thought, pretty damn good in his debut at Ellis Park back on August 18th. Now, granted, that field wasn't the toughest, but the distance was just 5/8 of a mile, but I liked Hog Creek Hustle. I think he overcame adversity to win that race. I think it was pretty impressive. What did you think?
I think you only like it because of the name.
I do like Hog Creek Hustle, yes.
Now, if you want to make some money, Tight 10 on top, and put Tobacco Road, who's the other Asmussen horse in this race, by the way.
Okay.
And Manny Wah. Manny Wah is a Wayne Catalano horse that Wayne has been pointing to this race. He has a lot of faith in this horse, and you're looking at, I'm going to say 6 or 8 to 1 for that one. So maybe that's your exacta that you can make some bucks, because if you play Tight 10 to win, you're not going to get paid, folks.
No, it's just, no, you've got to find something else to be able to go with it. Talk to me about Everfast and Pole Setter, number 12 and number 7 here. I know Pole Setter switches from turf to dirt and adding blinkers on her for Brad Cox, but
I don't like post 1 or post 12 in any race.
Really?
No.
Okay, you don't like
too much adversity.
Too much happening over there, huh?
First 12's got to clear the field to get a good position. And on 1, the rest of the field is going to try and get to the rail. So those 2 posts don't move me at all.
And Tobacco Road, number 6 there, winner of the Ellis Park Juvenile Stakes. Also a logical contender, going to attract, I think, a whole bunch of money here today. Although on paper, he doesn't really tower over some of the up-and-coming maiden winners that are in this race. So it would be great to see number 6 cash in there, especially at a 5 or a 6 to 1 shot.
I'm willing to give him another shot because he got off to a very bad beginning in that race and then made up a lot of lengths. So with Asmussen, he improves his 2-year-olds quickly.
Okay. Well, it's time to decide what it is that you're going to go with. We're going to make the listeners and the watchers here some money today. So go ahead one more time. Tell us the Iroquois Stakes, who you like.
I like top 10 over Tobacco Road, Manny Wah.
Oh, very nice. Okay, that's
You can
impressive.
send me a Christmas card after this week.
That's going to be it. You can't go wrong with Ty 10. But again, despite what he says, keep Hog Creek Hustle in mind there, along with Tobacco Road, and also number 12, Everfast. Keep an eye on Everfast for the exotics. So this is going to be a fun day in racing. We've got college football. We've got racing. There's a fight tonight. There's all sorts of exciting things happening in the world of sports here. But these two races getting ready to kick off right around 4:45, 5 o'clock today, Eastern Time. One in Canada, in Toronto at the Woodbine Mile, and of course in Churchill here, the Iroquois Stakes.
One final word, Joe, for any listeners out there that live in Florida. On voting day, we have an amendment here in Florida that I would like everybody to vote no on, because the amendment is Amendment 13, and it says to ban dog racing at the end of this year. Now, there are 5,000 people that work in the industry and 8,000 running dogs. So we want to kind of save the game. We want to save tradition, and it's a shame that politicians are making this kind of rule up. It was defeated by a federal judge and then overturned by the Republican Supreme Court. So listen, if you're in Florida, please vote no on 13. Thank you.
Yeah, very important as well, because the amount of misinformation being distributed regarding Greyhound racing is, anybody that's ever been associated with Greyhound racing understands that there are no harm coming to dogs, and the way they portray it is mind-blowing.
Yeah, they're really athletes, Joe, and they're taken care of like athletes.
Yes, yeah.
You know, it's a shame.
You see them jump up on a counter and place bets on themselves. You see that over at the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
I got another one for you. I was in the poker room. I was playing poker there.
Right.
And the dog was winning every hand. I said to myself, what the hell is going on? The guy next to me says to me, he says, don't worry about it. Every time he has a good hand, he has a tail, he wags his tail.
Oh, I can't with that. All right, that does it from us here at WTF Sports TV studios. We've got college football the rest of the day. We've got those picks coming up for you. Make sure you subscribe and like the channel if you haven't done so. Please do follow us. You'll get notified every time one of our shows goes live. And, of course, if you didn't get it live, you can always get it on the replay. Those picks, if you're looking to play, still got plenty of time. It's only about 2:30 local time on the East Coast. Still got time to be able to get those picks in. Make sure you listen to what Benny the Boot's got to say. He is the simulcast specialist at the Palm Beach Kennel Club. And we thank you very much for taking some time out of your day. Good luck to you. And then, of course, Benny, we'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks, Joe.
You got it. Go play Woodbine Mile Iroquois Stakes. Have a great day.